Part 1. The invisible war you didn't know you were in. Have you ever felt like you were fighting battles that weren't yours? As if something unseen was constantly draining you, whispering doubts into your mind, making you question your path, your worth, even your very existence. That sensation of being watched, judged, or attacked without a clear enemy is not your imagination. You are not weak for feeling it. You are, in fact, deeply sensitive to the greater spiritual reality that surrounds us all. But what if I told you that what you're experiencing is not just one spirit, not one dark entity, but multiple forces, vying for influence over your life, your energy, your mind? We live in a multidimensional world, though our senses have grown dull. We assume that because we cannot see something, it must not exist. But ancient wisdom and modern spiritual seekers alike speak of these forces, spirits that align with fear, anger, confusion, addiction, lust, and despair. Each of them feeds off a piece of your soul's light. They whisper to you not in foreign languages, but in your own voice, echoing your most insecure thoughts, feeding your darkest impulses, and making you believe they're your own. Have you ever stopped to ask, whose voice is that in my head? Is it truly mine? Breaking free from multi-spirit attacks is not a one-time ritual, but it is a spiritual war, a reclaiming of sovereignty over your own energetic field. These entities do not simply enter your life randomly. They are drawn in by resonance. If there is unhealed pain, they find a home. If there is unresolved anger, they feed. If there is confusion, they multiply. And here's the terrifying part: many of them are ancient. They do not move through time the way we do. They wait in the shadows of trauma, passed down through generations, inherited like spiritual DNA. What if some of the battles you are fighting today were never even yours to begin with, but were inherited from your bloodline?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
If you want to be free, you must become conscious of every doorway you've left open. That means examining your habits, your relationships, your thoughts, your addictions, and even your entertainment. Spirits do not require elaborate rituals to enter, they only need permission. And permission can be as subtle as a repeated thought of self-hatred or an unresolved wound from childhood. So ask yourself now, where have I given silent permission for darkness to live in me? It's not about blame. It's about clarity. Without clarity, you remain a house with open doors and no locks. The first step is awakening to the truth. You are not crazy. You are not imagining it. You are spiritually under siege. But this is not cause for fear, this is your call to power. Awareness is the blade that cuts through illusion. Many people want to skip to the cleansing, to the light, to the rituals, but without deep awareness, no ritual will hold. The spirits will return because the soil of your soul has not changed. You must become a master of your own energy, your thoughts, and your inner world. You must become a guardian of your own temple. And here's a hard truth many won't tell you. Some of these spirits are not only attached to you, but work through you. They influence how you treat others, how you sabotage yourself, what you say when you're angry, how you behave when no one is watching. This is why humility is essential in spiritual warfare. You must be willing to admit that parts of you have been compromised. Not because you are evil, but because you are human. And in this dimension, Being human means being vulnerable to the unseen. When you begin to push back against these spirits, they will not leave silently. In fact, things may get worse before they get better. You may experience more intense dreams, fatigue, random outbursts of emotion, or strange synchronicities. That is not a sign of failure, it is a sign that your light is disturbing their stronghold. When you shine, they tremble. When you speak truth, they scatter. But only if your truth is rooted in deep, unwavering conviction. So I ask you now, what is the most powerful truth you know in your soul? Hold on to that. Let it be your sword. There is no one-size-fits-all method for breaking free. Each spirit has its own nature, its own hunger, its own method of attachment. But there are universal principles that govern spiritual protection. The first is alignment. You must align your life with truth, with love, and with power. Love is not weakness, it is the highest frequency, the one that most spirits cannot withstand. But love without boundaries is not love. It is surrender. And you are not here to surrender to darkness. You are here to awaken. Every time you feed your soul with stillness, with prayer, with sacred music, with nature, with gratitude, you starve the spirits. Every time you forgive, you cut off their food source. Every time you speak life over yourself instead of death, you reclaim your mind. But do not mistake this for a one-day fix. This is a lifestyle, a discipline, a path of vigilance. You are no longer just a person, you are a spiritual warrior walking in human skin. Do not try to fight this battle alone. Community is not optional, it is spiritual armor. Isolation is one of the primary tactics of dark entities. They whisper, "No one understands you. You're better off alone. They'll laugh at you if you speak." But those are lies designed to keep you from your tribe. Your healing accelerates in the presence of safe, awakened souls. Seek them. Speak with them. Pray with them. Cry with them. Spirits hate unity because unity creates light. Sometimes these spirits come not because of your weakness, but because of your purpose. You are dangerous to darkness. Your voice, your gifts, your healing, they threaten the structure of spiritual oppression in this world. So you are targeted. Not because you are broken, but because you are powerful. Let that sink in. What if your greatest attacks are signs of your highest calling? What if the very thing trying to break you is revealing who you truly are? But you must cleanse. Not just your space, but your soul. Begin with your body. What are you feeding it? What substances numb your awareness? What music poisons your frequency? What environments drain your energy? Then cleanse your mind. What thoughts do you repeat that do not serve the light? What beliefs did you inherit that were rooted in fear and control? Break them. Burn them. Replace them. And finally, cleanse your spirit. Speak aloud your authority. Use your voice, it is your birthright. Say, "I do not consent to any spirit that is not of the highest light. I reclaim my space. I reclaim my mind. I reclaim my soul." At this point, you might be wondering, how do I know if what I'm experiencing is truly a multi-spirit attack? The signs can be subtle or severe. Sudden mood shifts, chronic nightmares, sleep paralysis, deep fatigue with no medical explanation, obsessive thoughts that feel foreign, energetic pressure on your body, compulsions that hijack your will, emotional reactions that feel disproportionate, a sense of being watched. These are not just psychological, they are spiritual. And your awareness of them is the beginning of your liberation. But knowledge alone is not enough. You must act. You begin with silence. Silence is a spiritual weapon. In silence, spirits are exposed. In silence, your soul speaks. Spend 10 minutes a day in stillness, listening not to your thoughts, but to the deeper current beneath them. Then, speak truth into the silence. Declare your spiritual boundaries. Invite divine presence into your home, your body, your dreams. Anoint your doors if you must. Clean your room as if it were sacred, because it is. Now, I want to ask you a question that may shake you. What if some of the voices you thought were your intuition were actually spirits trying to guide you off your path? Can you tell the difference? Do you know the tone of your soul? Can you distinguish it from the voice of fear disguised as wisdom? This discernment is critical. You must sharpen your inner hearing the way a warrior sharpens a blade. Do not trust every feeling. Not every desire is yours. Not every thought is truth. If you've made it this far, you are already shifting. Your spirit is activating. You are no longer asleep to your own power. But this is just the beginning. The spirits do not give up easily. They are ancient. They are cunning. And they are persistent. But so is your light. And when your light is backed by will, discipline, love, and truth, no darkness can remain. Part 2. The spirits behind the mirror, how they enter and how we expel them. Let us go deeper. You've entered the battlefield of spirit not out of choice, but by awakening. Now we must understand how these spirits enter. Because if we do not understand the entry points, we will spend our lives reacting to attack after attack, instead of sealing the doors once and for all. Spirits do not break into fortified souls, they sneak in through cracks, through the unresolved and the unconscious. Most people are completely unaware of how they invite spirits into their lives. It is not only through black magic or rituals. It is through agreement. Subtle, silent, energetic agreement. You make an agreement every time you say, "I'll never be enough." You make an agreement when you say, "Life is hopeless." You make an agreement when you entertain bitterness, resentment, jealousy, or hatred and let it live in you unchecked. These are not just emotions, they are frequencies. And each frequency is a beacon to a spirit that feeds on it. So the spirits come not because you are cursed, but because you are broadcasting. Have you considered what your soul is broadcasting unconsciously? What emotional and spiritual radio signal are you sending out every day? Most people have no idea that certain spirits live in the shadows of unhealed trauma. When you were a child and something broke you, abuse, neglect, abandonment, you were wide open. Your energy field was raw. In that moment, if no one came to help you heal, the wound became a door, and something slipped in, maybe more than one. Over time, you forgot the moment. But the spirit didn't. It made a home. It studied you. It learned your weaknesses. That's why some patterns feel impossible to break. You're not just dealing with memory, you're dealing with a presence. But here's the mystery. Not all spirits are dark in appearance. Some masquerade as light. They come as comfort, as pleasure, as power. They offer you things that make the pain go away temporarily. Addiction, lust, control, superiority. And you think, this is who I am now. But it isn't. It's who you became when you gave up the fight to feel whole. So I ask you, what do you believe is helping you that is actually harming you? What have you accepted as part of your personality that is actually a parasite? To break free, you must first reclaim your own identity. You are not your trauma. You are not your addiction. You are not your thoughts. You are not your shame. You are something far older, far purer, and far more powerful. But you must remember, you must strip away the false self layer by layer until you come face to face with your eternal essence. This is not a metaphor. This is the spiritual work. And it is not easy, but it is necessary if you want to live free. Begin by confronting the masks, the parts of you that pretend to be fine, the parts that say, I'm okay, while you're spiritually bleeding. These masks are shields, but they also keep healing out. You must be brutally honest with yourself. Not self-critical honest. There is a difference. Honesty is the scalpel. It cuts away illusion. Criticism is the infection. It feeds the spirits. Stop feeding them. Begin to speak to yourself with the love of the divine. Not the love of ego, but the love of truth. There's also a deeper layer. We must speak of the inherited spirits. Spirits attached to bloodlines. They operate like ancient contracts passed down through DNA. If your ancestors dealt with oppression, rage, fear, or occult practices and never healed, those spirits didn't die. They moved forward, into sons, into daughters, into you. You may be fighting battles that originated centuries ago, battles your ancestors didn't have the tools to win. But now you do. You are the generational key. To break these ties, you must become a spiritual investigator. Ask, what patterns run in my family? What addictions, sicknesses, mental illnesses, relationship dysfunctions, or spiritual afflictions keep showing up generation after generation? These are not mere coincidences. They are clues. Trace them. Pray over them. Speak healing over your bloodline. Declare that the cycle ends with you. Say it with power. I break every agreement made on behalf of my bloodline that is not aligned with divine truth. Use your voice. Spirits respect authority. They do not respond to begging. They respond to command. But command only works when you are aligned. You cannot command what you secretly agree with. That is why many rituals fail. You must cleanse your inner world first. You must remove the hooks, the emotions, the thoughts, the habits that these spirits cling to. Then, and only then, will your words carry weight in the spiritual realm. So ask yourself, what behaviors do I still protect that are protecting the enemy? What habits do I defend that are actually saboteurs? Another method of spiritual attack is through relationships. Spirits often use people as carriers. You meet someone, and suddenly your peace dissolves. Your thoughts become chaotic. Your dreams shift. This is not always psychological. Sometimes it is energetic. You have allowed someone into your field who is carrying a spirit that does not belong in your space. This is why discernment is more important than charisma. Just because someone smiles does not mean they are safe. Spiritual warfare requires spiritual vision. Begin to pray for spiritual eyes. Say, Divine Source, show me the unseen. Reveal the spirits that I have allowed into my life through people, through wounds, through ignorance. I revoke all access now. Then watch. Your life will begin to change. Some people will leave. Some opportunities will vanish. Some relationships will break. Do not cling. That is the cleansing. That is the healing. That is the hand of the unseen working on your behalf. There is also the spirit of confusion, one of the most common and dangerous. It doesn't make you feel evil. It makes you feel lost, numb, disconnected. It makes you question your path, your progress, your intuition, your very reason for being. It clouds your thoughts. It makes you forget who you are. It keeps you in cycles of doubt and indecision. And the more confused you are, the more you delay your purpose. Have you ever asked yourself, why am I always stuck at the edge of breakthrough? That could be the spirit of confusion at work. To fight it, you must anchor into clarity. And clarity comes from silence, structure, and spiritual nourishment. Begin to build your spiritual immune system. Sleep with intention. Eat with reverence. Meditate with focus. Speak with purpose. Cut off all energetic leaks, gossip, comparison, fear-based media, toxic conversations. These are not harmless. They are highways for spirits to enter. Your life must become a sacred temple, not a mall for wandering energies. And now, let's speak of dreams. Your dreams are a battleground. Spirits often enter through dream states because your conscious guard is down. That's why nightmares, sleep paralysis, and recurring dream scenarios must not be ignored. Begin to pray over your dreams. Set spiritual boundaries before sleep. Say aloud, only truth is allowed in my dreams. I permit no spirit to communicate with me unless it is aligned with the highest source. Keep a journal, record symbols, track patterns. Your spirit will begin to speak louder than your fear. You must also learn the power of sacred sound. Certain frequencies disrupt spirits. Chanting, mantras, high vibration music, these are not just traditions, they are tools. Sound creates form. Sound cleanses space. Speak sacred words into your room. Play spiritual music in your home. These are not aesthetic choices, they are weapons. Every sound you allow into your space is either feeding your soul or feeding your enemy. Choose wisely. And finally, we must talk about the ultimate weapon, stillness with intention. Most people live in noise, constant distraction. But silence is where your soul regains its strength. In silence, you begin to hear the difference between your voice and the intruders. Spend time each day in this stillness. Not just meditating, but listening. Ask, what is trying to speak in the silence? What emotion rises? What memory returns? What thought repeats? These are portals to healing. Do not run from them. Sit with them until they lose power over you. You are not weak for being attacked. You are strong enough to perceive the battle. That is a gift. And now you have tools. You have truth. You have awareness. But the question remains, will you act on it? Will you clean your inner world with the same urgency that you clean your body? Will you protect your soul as fiercely as you protect your home? This is your choice. Your freedom is not automatic, it is activated. You are not alone. Millions are waking up. The tide is turning, but the battle is real, and it begins and ends in the unseen. You must become a guardian of your soul, a priest of your own temple, a warrior of your own energy. And when you do, the spirits will know your name and tremble at its sound. Part 3. Divine Authority, becoming untouchable in spirit. Now that you've begun to awaken to the truth of multi-spirit attacks and understand how they enter, you must learn the most sacred truth of all. You were never meant to fight this alone. True freedom comes not from resisting darkness with your own strength, but from stepping into divine alignment, where you no longer just defend yourself, you radiate such truth and power that darkness cannot remain in your presence. You are not merely a victim of spiritual warfare. You are a sovereign being, a vessel of light, and when you rise into your true nature, you become untouchable not because spirits stop attacking, but because they can no longer find a place to land. Spiritual authority is not about shouting louder or performing rituals perfectly. It is about alignment of thought, emotion, word, and action. When your internal world becomes rooted in truth, love, and sacred discipline, your energy field becomes fortified. Spirits cannot manipulate someone who lives in truth. They thrive on distortion, on half-truths, on secrets, shame, and denial. So ask yourself in this moment, where am I still hiding from myself? Because what you hide becomes a doorway, and what you expose to light becomes healed. The moment you stop negotiating with your own soul is the moment you begin to ascend. There is no neutral ground in spiritual warfare. You are either reclaiming territory or surrendering it. That means every thought matters. Every emotion is a message. Every word is a spell. Every choice is a declaration. You must live with intention, not perfection intention. That means asking with every decision, does this honor my soul? Does this align with who I am becoming? Let us now speak of sacred fire, the fire of divine will. That fire is already in you, but most have buried it under years of self-doubt, fear, and societal programming. That fire is your spiritual immune system. It is the force that rises when you say, no more. It is the fire that consumes attachments, illusions, and spiritual parasites. You do not need to find this fire. You need to remember it. Sit in silence until you feel it. Breathe into your belly. Speak your name aloud. Call your power back from every place and person you gave it to unconsciously. Say, I call back my power. I call back my presence. I call back my fire. This is not poetic. This is spiritual technology. Your voice carries energy. Your breath is sacred. Your body is an altar. You must begin to treat yourself like a divine instrument. Cleanse your vessel. Fast if you must. Not just from food, but from fear, from distraction, from noise. Fasting is not deprivation. It is recalibration. It creates space for spirit to move. And when the divine moves through you, no unclean spirit can stay. There's a sacred moment in every spiritual journey where you stop asking for rescue and begin to embody responsibility. You realize that no healer, no priest, no ritual can substitute for your own alignment. That is the moment you become dangerous to darkness, because you are no longer outsourcing your power. You are no longer worshiping your wounds. You are no longer begging for peace, you are becoming it. And that shift changes everything. But let us go even deeper. Some spirits are not just attached to you, they are assigned to you. Their mission is to delay your purpose, dilute your light, and distract your focus. They don't want to destroy you instantly. They want to keep you busy. Busy with cycles, busy with triggers, busy with drama, busy with fear. Because they know what happens if you ever get still enough, long enough, to remember who you truly are. So I ask you now, what distractions have you mistaken for destiny? To become spiritually untouchable, you must master your focus. Your attention is your most sacred currency. Where you place it, your energy flows. Are you spending your energy on fear or faith? On healing or hiding? On alignment or addiction? You must become ruthless with protecting your attention. Log off. Turn off. Say no. Withdraw from anything that fragments your spirit. This is not isolation. This is consecration. You are preparing your soul for deeper work. And here is a truth few are ready to hear. Not all pain is yours to carry. Some of the emotions you feel are not your own. Empaths and spiritually sensitive people often absorb the energies of others, mistaking them for personal emotions. But you must learn to distinguish between what is yours and what is foreign. Stand in front of a mirror and speak aloud. What I feel that is not mine, I now release. What I carry that is not mine, I now return. I give no consent to carry another's pain unless it is mine to transmute by divine assignment. Feel what leaves your body when you speak this. You'll begin to realize how much of your suffering was never yours to begin with. Now we must speak of light. Not the soft, aesthetic light, but the ferocious, blinding, undeniable light of divine truth. That light lives in your soul. It is not quiet. It is not passive. It is a roaring flame that destabilizes every lie, every spirit, every frequency not aligned with the highest. That light must be activated through truth-telling, through forgiveness, through radical self-honesty. Stop pretending you are okay when you are not. Stop performing peace. That is not strength. That is suppression. And suppression is a breeding ground for spiritual infestation. To expel spirits, you must become uninhabitable to darkness. That means no longer speaking death over yourself, no longer feeding on low vibration content, no longer engaging in energy-draining connections. You must raise your frequency through consistent, disciplined action. Light is not a mood, it's a frequency. And you get there by doing the work. The real work. The quiet work. The boring, daily, sacred work of showing up for your own soul. Do not forget the power of community. Isolation breeds illusion. The enemy wants you alone, ashamed, disconnected. But healing multiplies in sacred circles. Find your tribe. Speak your truth. Confess your struggles without shame. There is no healing without exposure. The enemy thrives in secrecy. But in the presence of truth, spirits have no authority. So I ask you again, who are you hiding from? What part of your soul is still wearing a mask? As you grow in spiritual authority, you will notice something beautiful and terrifying. Spirits will begin to reveal themselves faster. People will react to your presence. Environments will shift when you enter. That is not your ego, it is your frequency. You are becoming a mirror. You reflect what others are hiding. And some will love you for it. Others will avoid you. Do not chase either. Just remain rooted in your truth. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be lighted. And now we come to the mystery of divine partnership. You were never meant to walk this journey alone. Divine intelligence walks with you, speaks to you, guides you. But you must make space for it. You must invite it in daily. Say aloud each morning, I surrender to divine guidance. I walk in divine protection. I live in divine truth. These words are not superstition, they are vibration. And when spoken with conviction, they shift the atmosphere within and around you. You must also learn to celebrate deliverance. Not every spiritual victory will be loud. Some will be quiet, internal shifts. A moment of peace where there was once panic. A gentle thought where there was once rage. A new choice where there was once compulsion. Celebrate these. Honor your growth. Spirits lose power when you claim your progress. They want you to focus on failure, but you must anchor in every win. Every act of healing is a declaration of war against the darkness. And finally, let us speak of legacy. You are not just healing for you. You are healing for everyone who will come after you. Your children, your community, your lineage. Every spirit you expel is one less spirit your descendants will fight. Every pattern you break is a new path they will walk with ease. So when it gets hard, when the attacks intensify, when the voices return, when you feel like giving up, remember, you are not just fighting for your freedom. You are building a fortress for generations to come. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not crazy. You are awakening. And as you awaken, your power returns, your vision clears, your voice strengthens, and the spirits, they begin to flee. Not because of fear, but because of truth, because of light, because they recognize that you are no longer a victim, but a vessel of divine fire. You are the answer to the attack. You are the prayer your ancestors whispered. You are the light that breaks the chain. So rise now, speak your truth, cleanse your space, guard your soul, align your life, and walk in such power that no spirit can stand before you. This is your time. This is your calling. This is your liberation. And it begins now.